Here's a short story by Sanjiban titled, "A Thief Dressed in White." It was June of 1982. I was driving down California Street in the high-rise district of downtown San Francisco. I was performing a selfless service duty in preparation for Sri Chinmoy's arrival in San Francisco for his self-promotion tour. Downtown San Francisco in rush hour was special. The beautiful people were all leaving the skyscrapers after their long day of looking at the bridges. I pulled up beside a PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, truck that was parked in a commercial loading zone. I looked up into the cab of the truck from my Toyota Corolla. The driver was asleep. "I bow to thee," I said, and drove around the block, gearing up for an unorthodox spiritual practice. I parked right behind the truck and climbed out of the passenger side of my vehicle to keep myself hidden from the PG&E worker. 5 orange street cones with PG&E written on them were neatly stacked on a metal post at the rear of the truck. I lifted the entire stack of cones off the post and threw them in the back of my car, and like Peter Pan, flew over the console, shifted into first gear, and spun away. I was a thief for the Supreme. It was to my advantage to steal dressed in white. The public thought I had permission to do whatever I was doing. I was Mr. Clean. In a short period of time, I had stolen over 400 cones for the Sri Chinmoy Running Club. I hid them at my place of employment, Satisfaction Promise Woodworking, a divine enterprise of Sri Chinmoy's. Chinmoy arrived in San Francisco for his 3-day promotion tour. I was in charge of setting up all the physical events. I had a crew of strong, dedicated disciple helpers. And first on the agenda was setting up a Friday night downtown book show highlighting Sri Chinmoy's publications on spirituality. The next day, Chinmoy was scheduled for a music and meditation concert at the University of California in Berkeley. And on the 3rd day of the promotional tour, Sri Chinmoy would sponsor a marathon foot race in Foster City, a suburb of San Francisco. I reached my limit on the 3rd and final day of the promotional blitz. I had only slept 4 hours during the previous 2 days before having to set up the marathon. I relied on herbal stimulants and prescription painkillers to make it through the night, setting up the 26-mile race. And at 3 a.m., I hit the wall. I started to lose my sense of balance while setting up cones in the roadway. I was staggering, and I knew it. My friends saw that I was in trouble and drove me to a 24-hour Denny's restaurant close by, and they slid me into a booth at the back of the restaurant and left me there. My crew went back to work completing the race course setup, and I slept for 3 hours at Denny's restaurant. Then woke up and walked back just in time to see the beginning of the marathon. I was clapping for the runners when the club supervisor approached me with a worried face. I thought she was concerned about my well-being, but no. A policeman had asked her where I had gotten all the cones from. My blood temperature rose. I was a disciple thief. I tried to comfort myself with multiple excuses for my conduct. It would have cost the Sri Chinmoy Running Club hundreds of dollars to have rented the cones, not to mention the additional expense of replacing cones that probably would have been stolen. The business logos on the cones I took looked as if we had gotten sponsorship for our race from PG&E, AT&T, and the underground construction company. My brain was spinning in my head, Rolodexing for some legitimate answer. I felt the heat of my wrongdoing. I freaked out and sarcastically said, "I got all the cones at the cone dump." I saw the tension dissolve from my supervisor's face. I was flabbergasted. She believed me. "Oh, good Sanjiban," she said. "I didn't think you would take them without permission." Later, I got blessed by Sri Chinmoy for my efforts at his self-promotional ceremony. I was a disciple liar, a drug user, and a thief dressed in white.